At number 3 on the Showbiz Countdown, we think Pattinson has really handled himself with class from the very beginning of his blitz. He even got suited up, looks really nice at the ringing of the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. And watch what he told Showbiz Tonight producer Jenny DeToma when we asked him about all those crazy reports about him since finding out that Kristen cheated. Look at this.
Was it weird to see all the hubbub about all this reporting about you? That was probably, for the most part, I mean, there were reports about you drinking and you know, wallowing in misery. And here you are today, and you look absolutely fine.
I mean, you know, since the first Twilight, I mean, you enter this kind of realm where everything is, where, you know, you get stuff reported about you, and it's weird.
I don't know, Patty, like nervous energy, nervous laughter. What did his body language there tell you?
Such a cluster of anxiety cues and comfort cues. Did you see the big nose wipe? Since the beginning of Twilight, nose wipe, nose wipe, nose wipe, blocking his face and saying that whole Twilight thing doesn't smell right to me. I don't like to talk about it.
So you think that's a defense mechanism then? He's trying to kind of cover up and keep himself hidden?
Yes, yes. Hiding his true feelings about the situation, hiding how distasteful it is to talk about it, how it doesn't smell right to him at all.
Huh. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so let's go to number 2 on the Showbiz Countdown of our Pat's Media Blitz hits. It's got to be, though, and I loved this, his girl talk with Jon Stewart. You know, when he tried to get Robert to dish over a dish or a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Watch this.
Listen, the last time I had a bad breakup, Ben and Jerry got me through some of the tougher times. So I thought you and I could bond over this.
Should do a thing.
And talk about, boy, you are better off. Kick her to the curb.
I love it. Kick her to the curb, whatever. Now, you know our Pats didn't say anything about it, but he did eat. He got right into that pint of Ben & Jerry's, just like I would have done, like most girls would have done, the very same thing. Jen, are you with me here that this is probably a really big hit with the ladies out there, especially if he is, in fact, going to be an eligible bachelor again?
Certainly. And I think this hit was much more jovial. You know Jon Stewart's going to fill in the blanks with his funny jokes and any discomfort that Robert Pattinson's feeling. He knows that Jon Stewart's going to be funny about it. So you can tell he's having a lot more fun in this interview than he is in some of the other ones where maybe it gets a little bit more serious.
A little more relaxed. Patty, what do you say? Ice cream for ice cream. What does this ice cream scream to you?
Right, actually, and he's still showing a lot of discomfort, a lot of long pauses, not good for a media interview. When Jon Stewart talks about his last breakup, you see Robert bring his lips together tight and a grimace, like he's really mad he'd even have to talk about the breakup. So Jon Stewart, excellent, but Pattinson still showing anxiety.
Tears of a clown, cool on the outside, but inside he's seething.
Absolutely.
So there you have it.
Absolutely.
But let's get to our number 1 tonight on the Showbiz Countdown of our Pat's Media Blitz hits. Yeah, he's teaming up with the director of his new film Cosmopolis to tell Showbiz Tonight exactly what they think about the difference between all the stories that we've been hearing and what's reality. Listen to this.
It's a very abstract realm that doesn't really have a lot to do with personal reality.
You start having total disassociation.
Yeah, so people think they know what's going on and they don't really know what's going on.
And on top of that, loads of people just make it up anyway. That doesn't make any difference.
So do you just laugh it off? I mean, you really are okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah.
Okay, you know, Patty, your insight here is so fascinating to me because you're the body language expert. So what was his body language there saying? Was he looking for cover from David Cronenberg, him drinking,
Actually,
basically saying...
He's looking to that director for comfort, then he uses the big old coffee cup, grabs it from the outside to block his face again. And I don't know if you noticed it, but he does a tongue thrust as he answers that question, really mad, again, at having to talk about this. Really.
So he's sticking his tongue out at Jenny DeToma?
Absolutely. It's microfacial. It's very quick, but oh, he's mad.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we counted down our Pat's top 3 hits. So now I want to move on to the top 3 misses in the Showbiz Countdown of the our Pat's Media Blitz. Let's take a look at this side-by-side of Robert Pattinson from his appearances in New York. Now, to be clear, I thought he looked really great when he rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange on Tuesday morning. But just a couple hours later, he showed up at his interview with Showbiz Tonight in a T-shirt. Jen, now look, he's cute, but I think he missed the memo on how to dress for an interview. Interview 101.
I think he's probably trying to just be a little bit more relaxed in this setting. Maybe he feels like he'll be a little bit more comfortable because he's got to do this interview and he knows he's going to get these difficult questions about his personal life that he doesn't have to answer. But I tend to agree with you. The T-shirt was a little bit of a miss. I don't care how designer it is.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I have to say that when I interviewed him in November for the for Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, he had on a flannel shirt. So it's not like he gets too dressed up for those interviews. But Patty, you jump in here because I want to hear what you have to say about this too.
Right. Well, and also, whatever you wear is going to affect your body language in the interviews. So when he's wearing that suit, his shoulders go back. He looks hot, hot, hot. But he's got that T-shirt on, and it just naturally makes your shoulders go down and in. You're so comfortable, your body collapses slightly. And then that makes him very protective of his heart, that very vulnerable part of the body. So he looks more vulnerable. He looks uncomfortable when he should be at ease.
You know, maybe, and Jen, I don't know, you kind of touched on this a little bit. Do you think that he was just saying, okay, I want to feel comfortable in my own skin because I know I'm going to have to go through a lot of uncomfortableness, so let me just wear what I feel the most comfortable in?
Probably. I think he's trying to, just relax a little bit and go, okay, this might feel like this is going to be 3 days long, but it's just going to be a little while and it's just going to be a few interviews and I've just got to get through it. So maybe that was sort of his comfort blanket there.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to add that sticking my tongue out at Jenny DeToma, our producer, on the list of misses. But we've still got two more. Number 2 and number 1 in the R-Pat's misses in the Showbiz Countdown. So Jen Hobby and Patty Wood, don't you guys move a muscle because this is good stuff. We're going to get to that one in just a minute, okay? Now, here's where we're at. At number 3 on the Showbiz Countdown of hits, Robert Pattinson has handled everything with class. At number 2 on the hit list, his R-Pat's Girl Talk with Jon Stewart. Number 1 on the hit list, telling Showbiz Tonight flat out that most of the stuff you read about him has nothing to do with reality. Now on the miss list, at number 3 on the Showbiz Countdown, Pattinson's wardrobe miss, coming dressed to interviews in a white undershirt. Which takes us now to number 2 on the Showbiz Countdown of misses, and you know what, this has got to be R-Pat's Giggle Fest, when he was confronted with questions about how he's doing since Kristen's cheating scandal first broke. Look at this.
How are you? Is Robert Pattinson okay?
Yeah.
They seem pretty excited about kind of whatever.
Now he's got me laughing. Considering all the reports about R-Pat's mending a broken heart, you know, he really does have the case of the giggles. Now let's take a look at all the headlines about his interviews and how he's kind of been giggling through them all. Back with me again is body language expert Patty Wood and entertainment reporter Jen Hobby. Now, Patty, come on. This has got to be more than just a simple case of the giggles. I'm sure his body language tells you something more there.
Absolutely. Laughter is a very common cover when you're withholding information in deception detection. When I'm analyzing a murder trial, I see laughter sometimes in that awkwardness of the moment. Here's the distinction. When he's asked about Kristen Stewart, he laughs, his body language goes down, and his voice, because the vocal cords tighten when you do that, in the laugh, goes down as well. When he's asked about the movie, when he's making jokes, his whole body lifts up, he's truly happy, and naturally the vocal cords stretch out and he's relaxed. So I would say as a media coach, laugh happy, let your body language go up, but don't laugh when you're stressed. Doesn't look good.
Jen, what do you say? Laughing to keep from crying? Is that what he's doing?
I actually think he's laughing to fill the space and not be rude to the interviewers. I think it's his way of saying, I don't want to answer your question, but I also don't want to be rude to you and say, I'm not going to answer any personal questions. I think it's his way of deflecting it and really sort of making it a more comfortable setting between him and the interviewer.
And he kind of leaves his words in his cup, like, so that takes us now to number 1 on the Showbiz Countdown of R-Pat's misses during his media blitz this week. And you know what? It's got to be his confession that he's cheap. Watch this.
My biggest problem in my life is I'm cheap. And I didn't hire a publicist. And every awkward interview, you know, normally actors get these things scripted.
Right. They know you're going to come up with an anecdote. I'm going to ask you, so, I hear your summer in France has been lovely. And then you tell me what to say.
I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, I should have. I'm gonna hire a publicist.
Jen, do you agree, big miss, that he was too cheap to hire a publicist with everything that's going on with him?
I think it is actually a really sweet, self-deprecating story that helps him fill in the blanks right here. You know, it makes us love him even more. Like, oh, wow, really? He's a real guy? He got his heart broken, and he's cheap. So I thought it was a great story to tell.
Yeah, you know what? I actually thought it was kind of endearing as well. Like, I am a superstar in Hollywood, and guess what?
Right.
I don't have a handler, so that makes him a little bit more approachable, I think. Patty Wood, Jen Hobby, thank you guys very, very much.